If you're like me and you enjoy the occasional adult beverage, or why else would you be watching a video on hangover cures, then you may find this interesting. A few years ago, I started looking at some of the biohacks that people were promoting on Instagram and other places as hangover cures or hangover prevention. Now, I don't actually get hangovers that bad from the nature and amount that I drink, but I would like to make drinking healthier and have less impacts on my body, on training the next day, on my productivity and performance. So I've looked at a number of these things. Being a bit of an analyst, I tend to drill in and look at the science and the claims to the products. And so far, not one of the Instagram ads that have popped up in front of me or things that I'd researched proactively had I actually gone out and ordered. That changed this last week when I put in an order from a company called ZBiotics. Now, no surprise, given that they're from Silicon Valley, that the packaging on this stuff is Apple-esque. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. This little magnetic clasp opens up, and the little vials contained inside. Before we get to that, I want to compliment them on just the fun, simple, straightforward marketing. A lot of you can learn from this in my experience. Now, granted, they may want to rethink this one. I'm guessing that happened before the pandemic, but hey, you get where they were trying to head with that. Now, why did I order this product when I'd passed on so many before? First, an impressive team of actual scientists, not just marketing people. Second, looking into the claim, they actually had done some research and identified the compound that makes you feel awful the next morning and had quite a clear story of how they got rid of it. But, you know, anybody can come up with a good story. What's the actual experience going to be like? So how was I going to figure out whether this stuff actually worked? I didn't have thousands of samples to do, statistically significant numbers, and I wasn't going to walk up to strangers, so this couldn't be randomized. But having said that, I did apply a bit of rigor. I assembled the groups of friends on different occasions. Half of them I would give the real ZBiotic, and half of them, I would replace the vials with coconut water, and I marked down who got what. And then I asked a couple of simple questions. I said, based on how you would normally feel after this many drinks consumed, do you think you had the same feeling after, a 10% improvement, an 80% improvement? How did you feel after? And then the second part that I did a test on myself is I would drink the same amount of drinks, and I would track with my Whoop fitness strap the quality of sleep that I got when I drank the regular way or when I consumed ZBiotics first. Let me show you what happened. Okay, so you've seen the evidence, as limited as my experiment was, fairly compelling. What about the anecdotal part of, what are my thoughts on this thing after using it for a while, giving it to lots of people, hearing their feedback? Well, probably the strongest endorsement that I can give you is I won't have more than one drink without taking one of these things first. I just feel so much better the next day. A couple of times I've even gone out and pushed the limit a little bit, and the next day it took me a couple hours before I thought, oh, hey, I had drinks last night. None of that yucky feeling first thing in the morning. You do still have to be hydrated for sure, but I'm pretty good at that all the time anyways. The one sample that you saw on there where they got it mixed up and didn't see a benefit, I have a couple of suspicions as to why that is, and I'm not going to share them in the video, but I think hydration was a part of it. Suggestions for improvement. So as much as I love the packaging and the initial brand impression that this created, I hate throwing these things out all the time. I think this is my 7th box or something that I've used, and I hate tossing this away. I would suggest to Zach, the CEO, I'm sending this to at his request, that after you get somebody who's a believer of the product, more condensed packaging that doesn't have such a big footprint and doesn't use so much of the box to come out in and stuff would be sufficient once we're already a fan. And also doing it on a subscription service, which you've probably thought of already, but I would definitely sign up for that instead. Friends are over and stuff, you're running out all the time. I would love it if this was just showing up on my door every 2 weeks or something like that. And at a reduced price, because at $8 a vial, it's a little bit pricey. For regular customers, it would be nice if you could bring that down a little bit. But as the saying goes, drink before drinking and enjoy.